Gavin, in 6 weeks, we're going to Camp Crystal Lake, but we're also going to Manhattan, which feels like this film might be useful on 2 fronts.
Yeah. All right, then, what's going on in Friday 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan?
Apparently, set 1 year after the events of New Blood, but we'll get back to that in a second. The graduating class of Camp Crystal Lake High School celebrate prom on a boat bound for Manhattan.
Is this like the earliest example of like clickbait? Clickbait?
It is clickbait. Well, before we started recording, we watched the brilliant teaser trailer together.
Outstanding,
You know, it's almost like Sinatra's playing and Jason is looking across the bay at Manhattan.
Yeah.
And then it's intercut with him killing like a hot dog salesperson,
Yeah.
a homeless person, someone on the tube, subway. And you're like, oh, I want to see it. Like, great concept.
Yeah.
Great poster. Great title.
Yeah. It's just not there, is it? It's just not.
It's a bonkers concept pitch, isn't it? There's like, we've done everything else. Let's.
That's the thing. I actually think it's decent, and I think like if it wasn't called Jason Takes Manhattan, but then it's interesting now.
It sets a very false expectation.
Yeah, I think it's interesting now watching it because I watched it last night, knowing that it ain't going to be in Manhattan. And like, that's the sort of like, now I'm far enough away from it that I'm sure like when I watched it when I was a kid, I was like quite disappointed by it. Whereas now I'm far enough away that I find the fact that it's not in Manhattan quite funny.
It is very funny. And I think that's largely down to budgetary reasons, but it's funny because it gets greenlit, commissioned, and then I think just dramatically gets scaled down and down and down to the point where it's like, I mean, they get to Manhattan. Even when they get to Manhattan, a lot of it's not in Manhattan.
No,
it's like at docks and streets in Vancouver, doubling from Manhattan.
Yeah,
the actual Manhattan bits are like 5 minutes, 10 minutes max. So shots in Times Square, essentially.
How does that happen?
I just go, nobody's budgeted it. Nobody's like gone, it's well expensive actually.
Because I think like, it's really interesting there because, like you say, like, has it been green? It's been greenlit as Jason Takes Manhattan, and they've gone, oh, we're running over budget, so a lot of it's not. But I would be like, all right, we'll just take out some of the scenes on the boat then.
Well, this is the bonkers thing: is the way that scenes that obviously were written for the more expansive version have been recycled and taken back into the core film. So do you find it weird that a character is boxing Jason?
Yeah, no, that's
that was meant to take place in Madison Square Garden at a boxing match. So Jason would have gone through Madison Square Garden and ended up in the boxing ring. And so that's like almost like a remnant of that.
Oh, okay.
Do you find it weird that Eva Watanabe dies in like a disco, a club that was meant to be a nightclub just in Manhattan? So I think some of these ideas were developed for like the bigger version, and then you've gone, wow,
you have to do it in
I'm not coming up with something new.
Because the thing is, a boat that not accidentally, but like a boat trip on Camp Crystal that has accidentally gone into Camp Crystal Lake, that is a really good story, and I think like that's a good premise for Jason being woken up. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh shit, we've taken a wrong. I don't know. Like, obviously, I don't know how this lake connects to the wider water systems of America. Don't get me wrong. We don't have to worry about that.
We do need to come back to that at some point soon, because we usually do a section called "How Does It Connect?"
Yeah,
and that is taking
literally how does it connect?
We're talking about tributaries.
But I think like a cruise ship accidentally getting to Camp Crystal Lake. There's something funny about that.
I think that's meant to be a. Okay, I think that bit is meant to be the coast,
right?
But then the question is, how does that first boat with Jason on it get from the lake into the coast?
Yes,
because when the kids are getting on that boat, that feels like the coastline.
Yeah.
It's much bigger. So it's how does that boat that Jimmy's on at the beginning with Susie get from Camp Crystal Lake with Jason as a stowaway to the coastline? Now, to that, I actually looked up the definition of a lake. A lake is often naturally occurring, relatively large and fixed body of water on or near the Earth's surface.
Okay.
It is localized in a basin or interconnected basins surrounded by dry land.
Right.
But lakes are separate from the ocean, although they may be connected with the ocean by rivers, such as Lake Ontario.
Okay.
So it's not even inconceivable that Camp Crystal Lake has a tributary that would take Jason to the coastline.
Yeah. But is it out of the question for them to just start? Because I feel like you would know when you've left a lake and gone onto a river. And I feel like the way they're rowing, I was like, they're just rowing out to sea. Oh, okay, right.
I think, the cruise ship is sailing to Manhattan.
Okay, right.
Because I think the end part of the graduation prom thing is going to take place in Manhattan.
Right, okay.
I'm talking about the first
actual getting on, right, okay. Yeah.
Because that's this is the bigger question. Well, not bigger question, but what school does this?
Yeah. I was really confused over like Charles McCulloch, his like role in this. It was like, is he a teacher? Is he the head teacher?
It feels like he's got head teacher energy.
Right, yeah.
But the other lady is a teacher as well.
Yeah.
So, at proms in this country, kids are too young to drink, so teachers are present.
Yeah.
As like guardians.
Yeah, I was really confused by what the boat actually was. And then also why there's not more people on the boat.
Well, there is initially.
Yeah.
There's loads on initially. When they're actually boarding the vessel in the harbour, presumably that is coastline, like Atlantic coastline.
Yeah.
From Jersey to New York.
Okay.
And it's all pitched as like, we've graduated, which puts us about May.
Yeah.
So they're graduating, and this is to celebrate graduation. And it's going to like culminate in them having like a night out in New York.
Right.
Now, I've got loads of questions around this.
Yeah.
What is currently now, what would you say the socioeconomic demographic of Crystal Lake is now? Because way back in the original, it seemed quite like a rustic place.
Yeah, that's true.
Like in Blairstown, when they're going to the lake for the first time. And then occasionally over these films, we've like, people have holiday homes there.
Yeah.
Now, we've got a bunch of posho kids that are having a cruise to Manhattan to celebrate graduating high school. One of them has like a flying V Gibson.
Yeah.
One has like a state-of-the-art video camcorder.
Yeah.
Is like Camp Crystal Lake now a really affluent, is it been gentrified?
It's like, did the school, because it's a school basically there.
Well, it's called Camp Crystal Lake High.
Right. So maybe the school has just bought that area.
I think it's basically, we can go into the timeline, which is bonkers now.
Yeah.
But this is effectively could be as much as 18, 19 years after the events of the original. And it's close to New York. It's not, and it's got on a beautiful lake. We know people have been buying holiday homes there over the year, like part 3. I wonder if it's just been completely gentrified. And now it's just full of like rich old kids.
Yeah, I think that's
because a lot of these do feel like really entitled or privileged kids.
Incredibly, yeah. So maybe it's like a private school, but then also, if it's still in New Jersey, so you still would have to go there. But it feels like that's where people would go on their holidays rather than pitch up, and now the kids are going to high school there.
Well, it feels like there's a big thriving community, but I guess within 20 years people can relocate.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's strange because sometimes it feels like the movie was made by the execs who made, in The Simpsons, who make Poochie, like where there's like, we got to have like the way some of the kids talk, like JJ referring to her axe and stuff like that.
Whoa. I play guitar. You do refer to it as an axe.
Yeah, it's but also at the same, it's one of the more enjoyable.
I think it's fun. I think it's a great idea. Like we said, just unexplored.
Yeah.
I think tonally it's really weird, which we'll get onto later.
Yeah.
It also feels like, we'll talk about this in Kills, but it feels really bloodless in many ways. There's loads of bonkers stuff that we can talk to about Jason, but I want to say like about the timeline, like when this takes place, because So at the beginning of this film, we see Jason in Camp Crystal Lake, and he's buried beneath the pier that Tina's father dragged him under at the end of 7.
So he's got a wood and stuff like that on him.
So it takes place after that. Puts this after the events of New Blood.
Yeah.
Now let me just pull up I've got a separate note just about bloody timelines.
I love just as a side thing, I love the voiceover at the beginning. Like it starts, it's quite on the nose, but then it goes off really, really vague. And there's this amazing line where it's like talking about Jason. He's like, and then every now and then he comes back.
Sometimes it's Friday the 13th.
Every now and then. Oh, that's creepy, isn't it? That sounds fucking scary. Every now and then. Whenever he can be asked.
It's because they can't say it on Friday the 13th.
Yeah, no.
Because we've got as many times of him not turning up on Friday the 13th.
Yeah, every now and then.
So it takes place after 7. We know that because his body is buried under the pier from 7. Mm-hmm. Has to be around May time because it's senior class graduation.
Yeah.
So we said that 7 takes place in 1996. Some people say 97. We said 1996. Now, despite taking place after the events of 1996, there is a glaring error at the end of the film that will put this film in 1989.
Oh, is that something in
Times Square?
Times Square.
It's a poster for Tim Burton's Batman.
Right.
Now, I think we can just refer to that as production error.
Yeah.
Because this has to take place. Now, people on the internet have tried to rationalize this.
Right.
And say that Tina, you know, she drowned her father at the beginning of 7.
Yes.
Using her psychic powers.
She like Batman.
These are bonkers things to be saying. Some people, even though 7 begins with an establishing shot of Jason underwater where Tommy left him at the end of 6.
Yeah.
Some people speculate the beginning of 7 is actually back in the 70s before Tommy buries him. And they do that just to justify the time jump to Tina being older, being prior to 1989.
Oh.
The film doesn't make you think that.
Is it based on anything, or is it just a cool idea?
kind of smooth this over.
Yeah.
To basically allow Part 8 to be in 1998.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, 1989.
1989, yeah.
But now, I think that's just production error. It has to be prior to September 2001.
Yeah.
Because the Twin Towers are standing.
Yes.
But that's only if this takes place in our world.
Correct. Yeah.
So essentially,
but enough stuff happens even in this where, you know, Tina, she's handed a pen saying, "Oh, Stephen King used this." So you're like, okay, we're saying this is our world. Yeah.
Tim Burton's Batman comes out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
We don't know if it's directed by Tim Burton.
Yeah.
So essentially, I don't know.
Yeah.
But in the original script, this is funny. Because I was trying to check whether this was set on Friday the 13th. Because I was like, well, it's not, because it's graduation. But you can still have a Friday the 13th in summer. And then in the original script, you know, right at the end of the film, you know, the sewer engineer says toxic waste is being vented every night at midnight.
Does that happen?
So, no. Well, I don't think so. But he says that in the original script, the sewer engineer says that toxic waste is vented every month on the 13th. But that's not in the final film.
Why change that? Just because they're confused? They're obviously confused.
Again, if that stayed in, there's a few ways to interpret that. One, oh shit, something unlucky happened to Jason again.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, it's not like Jason choosing to kill on the 13th.
Yeah.
Because he's accidentally woken up just close to the 13th.
Yeah.
It's all a mess, that.
Also, the toxic waste thing is really funny because like that's just how... It's strange how much toxic waste was a thing around then. But... we should definitely talk about the prevalence of toxic waste in the 80s. Yeah.
And
it's massive in RoboCop.
Gak, Goose, Ooze, Slime.
Yeah.
Toxic Avenger.
People were really scared of it, yeah.
But also like Ghostbusters.
Yeah, absolutely. Like all that. That's it. But also it shows how little they think about it though, because they just go, oh, it's changed from every month on the 13th to he says every night. I was like, that's a lot of jobs. That's a lot of.
Also, if I was him, I wouldn't be leaving it as late as 10 minutes before. Because why does he have to go down every night?
Where's all his fucking waste coming from? Like, let's address that situation before we just accept and go, oh, we're just going to have to vent this every night now.
So I did look into the toxic waste thing. Like, why was it so prominent in the 80s?
Right.
And I think It's because in the late 70s, there were lots of incidents of basically toxic waste dumps being uncovered in America.
Oh.
And it coincided with the dawn of environmentalism in the late
Right.
70s. So there's really high prominent cases of big, like industrial complexes just dumping stuff for like 70 years. And then towns of people getting sick. Which is a bit like what that Mark Ruffalo film, Dark Waters, is about.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Just
Like,
thought they could get away with it,
Yeah.
or there were no rules.
they make constant jokes about it in The Simpsons. Like, they're always making jokes about like Mr. Burns dumping toxic waste and shit like that.
But
Like,
when you kind of look back, you go, bloody hell, loads of films that
that was a
plot
thing.
point.
Yeah.
It would be like in 40 years' time to look back and all the AI stuff now.
Oh yeah.
It will be.
That's true. Yeah.
That'd be quite good to do like a timeline.
What was the
of
thing?
societal fears
Yeah.
and how it manifests in popular films. It's probably been done.
Yeah. No, that's a good shout. So, is it on Friday the 13th?
No.
No. Is any of it on Friday the 13th?
If it is, it's not apparent from what I could see.
Yeah. No.
But again, it's very, with these, like, we're watching it very attentively. It's very easy for little details like that just passing
Absolutely. Yeah.
by. Because it also feels like the film sometimes isn't a bit uninterested in it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So what else got to talk about really here up top?
Oh, I love how like the way that it's colored and the way that it's shot, that beginning bit, and with like the rat and stuff coming out, I was like, it really feels like the beginning of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
It's quite bright and clean.
It's strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the way of shooting that grime of the city.
Yeah, I think it's also because it just feels like set, doesn't
Yeah,
it? Like
it really does. Yeah.
Because I think it's, even though we're saying in film time this is meant to be like the 90s,
Yeah.
there's obviously the 80s. So there's this impression of like New York being a really dangerous place.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like a really violent, scary place, which I think it was in like the 70s and 80s.
Well, I think even
before
that
it was cleaned
trailer,
up.
like New York has a new problem. It's just like they didn't have enough problems as it is. They're like, this place is a no-go area.
Or you feel like Jason should be scared of this place.
Yeah, we could talk about Jason a little bit. Like, thing is, I do really like that when we see him underneath like all the wood and stuff, you're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
He is,
Well,
this is carrying on.
That is direct continuity.
Yeah. I like that.
It's the second or third time that we've seen electricity be used to revive him.
Yeah.
The fact that this electricity can keep bringing him back.
I like that.
In the kind of Frankenstein mode of 6.
I also just love like the idea that they've got to come up with like a mad old way to bring him back, and the boat and the electric line, and like he goes, I got to drop the anchor. He drops the anchor drops the electric line then is like waving around and brings him back to life. I love that, because I'm just like, now as a fan, every single time I'd be like, I want to see how they bring him back to life.
And it'll be electricity.
And it'll be electricity, yeah.
With the line, is that a power line that's been installed in Camp Crystal Lake
I guess
in the
so.
intervening years? But again, that could tally with the idea of it being more gentrified.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And then they've just snagged it, haven't they? When they've just
snagged it with the anchor,
Again,
'cause
two
it's
young
stupid,
kids
yeah.
with their own boat.
Yeah.
Richos, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like, why do they have this boat? Now, big question about that intro.
I got a big question about it.
Jimmy, I think
yeah.
it's about the same thing, right?
Jim, yeah.
How does he have the mask?
Well, not only does he have the mask, but that's the thing, is like, he can have a hockey mask.
But it's perfect.
It has the axe mark that
Same.
Chris makes in Jason's mask in part 3, which it forms the things of one of our rules, which is like make an impact.
Yeah.
And Chris did make an impact.
Literal and metaphorical.
Why does that mask?
Yeah, because how well documented is the appearance of Jason? Now we know
can't be.
We know in 5, which the film series largely knows, in A New Beginning, at the end of that film, there's a mugshot of Jason in the paper
Oh, yeah,
that they
like a
find in the paramedic's wallet.
Yeah.
But so you would have photographic evidence. But why is Jimmy? It's flips between. Is Jason well known? Is he not?
Yeah.
Like, in a world where he's well known, can you buy a crass replica of this mask? But then at the beginning, Susie doesn't seem to know much about Jason, despite living in that area. Could be a yuppie out of towner.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. But anyway, why doesn't Jason have that mask?
Yeah,
Because
no.
he takes that mask for his mask for the duration of this film.
Yeah.
So what's happened to his mask he was buried with at the bottom of the lake?
Yeah, that's just for... Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It's just really strange, isn't it? Because there's no way that the Jason in their world can be as popular as he is in our world, because the Jason in our world is only popular because he's not real. So we can only buy Jason mask with the axe thing in it.
It's unsure how infamous he is, because it's like,
But it'd be like no one is selling the Yorkshire Ripper mask in shops. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't
big beard.
You can't buy a Fred and Rose West mask. Do you know what I mean? Like, really in a shop, hopefully. Really whereas like this one has the axe mark in it.
Yeah,
it's very.
Has he made this?
Yeah.
But then again, she knows so little about Jason.
Yeah.
That's going to be lost on her.
Yeah.
Like, will she know? Really, like, you don't need to go to that level of detail.
No, yeah, that's a good. But the good thing is, like, the idea that he's a killer who walks around with a hockey mask, that can be around, right?
But it could be like the mask from Five.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the same one.
Exactly. It's really interesting, and like, it's so strange. Like,
I've actually just thought, if the paramedic in Five had a picture of the exact mask,
yeah,
why is he using a different one?
Yeah, no, exactly. But the thing is, though, I always put it down to like, hockey masks it's not like one mask, do you know what I mean? Which makes it even, it's really strange where we see him look up at the giant hockey sign, and it's the same as his mask.
Yeah, and if you think about it, if we're saying the timeline, that's 1998.
Yeah.
That's a mask that is like 15 years out of date.
Yeah.
That's a design from 15, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
When Shelley first bought it.
Yeah. Also, like, does seeing that mask that big not just cook his brain?
Well, I mean, the underground doesn't seem to.
No, I think this is the interesting thing about motivation is like, I actually don't know here. Yeah. Because if he is just a bonk-ass killer who just likes killing people, right? Mm-hmm. Why isn't he just killing every single person that he sees?
Why doesn't he kill random people?
Yeah.
Because does the theory about people trespassing on Crystal Lake still hold water?
Yeah.
Because Jimmy at the beginning, again, Jimmy, like Paul in 2, is just trying to scare someone.
Yeah.
Just like Paul is trying to scare the counselors around the campfire. So it's hard to know how much you can take Jimmy's story as like truth. But Jimmy does say at the beginning, and he's putting this in the mind of the audience, restates a possible motivation. He says, Jason comes back vowing to kill every teenager in the area. So he's attaching a more specific motivation there, that any teenager who trespasses in Camp Crystal Lake, therefore, similar to the kids that were responsible for his death, are going to get it.
Right.
And that does explain why once they get to Manhattan,
he's
kill them. Still targeted on them.
Good rules. I don't mind that. That's fine. Him lifting his mask to scare the kids, again, it's like
Chris in 3.
It's like what he did, but you've got to then go, Jason understands that his own face is scary to humans.
And he does that bit like weird, like in 3 with Chris. Is he doing like I attacked you a year ago, or he's like, look at this?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because we were never really sure. Like,
is he tormenting her, or is he like trying to torment her by saying,
"Stay on this, look at that"?
I know.
Yeah,
that's why I use the mask. It's bizarre that it feels. You know what's weird about Jason's look in here? Well, one, he's super gooey.
Yeah.
Like, he's wet all the time, like, and slimy.
Wet, yeah.
But there's the scenes with him, his face, like his mask off at the end. So we got a lot of Jason unmasked in the last film.
Yeah.
Like, the last reel is pretty much him just being a special effect.
Yeah.
This is 2 years underwater.
Yeah.
So he's really decomposed. And he's like, I guess that's why he's wet and gooey all the time.
Yeah.
But his weird little face at the end.
Yeah.
It really reminded me of, the newborn in Alien Resurrection.
Right. Yeah.
Where you feel quite sad for it.
Yeah.
And he's just like almost like a little skull.
Yeah. I think you are meant to feel quite sad for him, I think.
But it feels so far removed from a human even now. Like, it's almost like a weird little, I'll put like
he's a monster.
Cute little weird monster.
Yeah. I think that's the thing.
Jim Henson-y, like you were saying last week.
Yeah, I think they just don't give a fuck now. And the thing is, like, he is, and then they add the toxic waste stuff into him. Be like, this has made him even worse as well.
But also transforms him back to a child without any kind of disfigurement.
What's that?
So I guess we should talk about this now as well.
Yeah.
Throughout this film, there are these flashbacks. Whether they are flashbacks, I don't know. That's another question.
Yeah.
To Jason at various stages of youth.
Yeah.
But with varying levels of facial disfigurement.
Yeah.
And I had to rewind this to check whether I misremembered the first one.
Yeah.
Because the first one you see him, you're like, he looks...
Just normal face.
Normal face.
Yeah.
And then...
Who are we to say what's normal, man?
Yeah, exactly. Like, we need to probably count this
Yeah.
as like kind language, but
Yeah.
like, but then varying levels of makeup
Yeah.
to the point where you're like, what is going on here? And you know, we always ask whether
don't really
Jason's
understand.
supernatural. I think unquestionably in this one.
Yeah.
But then I'll put another question down here: is Rennie supernatural?
Yeah.
You know, just like Tina was, she had
Yeah.
like telekinesis.
Oh, do you know what?
Does Rennie have like some, like, is she an empath?
That's a really good point, because that stuff was doing my head in a little bit. I was just like, what is going on here? But then I was like, oh, okay. Actually, we have just had a film where someone can move shit with their mind.
That's what I was thinking. Is like, have you established a new? This is a more deeply supernatural world.
Yeah.
Because the bit where he comes out of the mirror, and then you're like, why does Renee have this connection with Jason?
Yeah.
And later on in the film, we get this bonkers flashback.
Yeah.
Where her uncle and legal guardian.
Yeah.
So many wrinkles to this film.
Yeah.
Teaches her how to swim on Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
By chucking her in
chucking
the lake.
her in, aye.
Before and prior to that, tormenting her about how a boy drowned in that lake.
Yeah. So weird.
And it's also still baffling that despite her hydrophobia, Rennie still goes on the camp cruise.
Yeah. And immediately gets pushed in, and no one gets in trouble for that as well, by the way.
They could have literally killed her.
Yeah. She pushed her quite high.
Yeah.
Like, but this is the thing where I didn't really understand was, is Renee, is she seeing the real, is real Jason? Because my thing was like, her uncle is like chucking her in, right?
Yeah.
To make her, and he's told her the story about Jason, and then as her fear then.
So when would that have been? That's probably mid-80s.
Yeah.
Well, God knows.
So is her fear what she's seeing? And like just sort of manifesting in her own mind. She's not actually seeing it. But then she gets actually pulled down. And I was like, oh shit. She's actually got pulled down by the real Jason, who just lives underwater in the lake
He
now.
wouldn't have been a child at that age.
No, exactly. So I don't really know what's going on. It must be her mind. And then out of...
But is it her mind, but also, or based on she can tap into history?
Yeah.
You know, capable of visions.
So, and then it's just
Because
dumb
Tina
luck.
had visions in the last one that were accurate.
Yeah, and then it's just dumb luck that actually during all that time, Jason also the real underground adult Jason also gets brought back, and then she's like, fuck, oh, they were both these now.
But at the end, does toxic waste genuinely transform him back into a child?
Is that just what she's seeing?
But then why have the varying levels of makeup? What is that meant to signify?
Don't know.
That Jason was have they grafted on some meaning that there is a sweet kid under all that? But that's a horrible message.
Also,
Because it's almost at the end, the toxic waste cleanses him.
Yeah. Of being Jason,
there's
yeah.
a bonkers deleted scene.
Is
And
it?
You can tell where they didn't use it because it looks wild.
Yeah.
That at the end of the movie, you know Jason's strange newborn head?
Yes.
They made a giant version of it.
What?
And the young boy, the young Jason, is trying to swim out of his mouth and escape that body. And water, toxic waste, is lapping up against this massive jaw and teeth.
Yeah.
And the young Jason's trying to get out of the mouth. So, you know,
That sounds cool, to be fair.
really exploring that metaphor that this young innocent boy is being released from this monster.
From evil, yeah. Maybe.
But that's a bonkers thing to put in a film called Jason Takes Manhattan.
Exactly. The annoying thing is, you've squandered that title. Because I could have that now.
Yeah, I would love to know the logic behind all this stuff.
It's really annoying. I think it's so funny as well when you read bits about this movie as well, because it's one of those ones where a lot of the cast apparently were just like, we were all really wondering at the time as well. You weren't wondering anything. But the one thing that everyone is like, oh yeah, like Kane Hodder, who's back to play Jason, he was like, such a good Jason. He can just like make himself sick. And so when he's been sick at the end, that's real sick. And everyone talks about this thing as if it's like seeing his like Richard III, or it's like, and he can make himself sick.
Like Day-Lewis.
And he does make himself sick. And everyone's like, oh my God. Talk about this like
he doesn't
amazing.
need to make himself sick. It's got special effects, man.
Absolutely. Everyone's like, but it's just so good. Like, and he actually made himself sick. Well done. That's not good. That's not acting.
You could put a load of stuff in your mouth before you take and just open your mouth.
He looks smaller in this as well.
Yeah, big C.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, yeah, he's literally in a big pond.
Yeah.
But why? If I was Kane Hodder, and it was obviously easier said than done. If I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep getting the role.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I need to be massive, and I would just pump everything into me. I would just be constantly training.
Femur surgery,
like literally every single time. I want to be bigger.
Yeah,
he's a big guy, but they put him in really, really baggy clothing this because, like, I guess, like, it's all shredded and stuff, and it's never going to be like
really rotted in this one.
Yeah,
like the back of the head. You know, in 6, he was kind of ashen and a burnt corpse.
Yeah,
Even though he wasn't
yeah.
burnt, he was kind of a grey corpse. This is just, if it would whiff.
Yeah, it's kind of gross, isn't it?
It's just the post.
Hey, Coco, back in your bed. Coco, back in your bed. Go on. Go on. Yeah, he is really disgusting in this.
Obviously supernatural.
Yeah, you just got to say
But
that,
is there an expansion to his power base? Because he can teleport.
yeah.
In this one, you know, in the game,
Yeah,
he can teleport.
he can, yeah.
I feel like that comes from this one.
Do you think it comes from this?
Well, when
yeah.
he's killing Eva in
Yeah.
the nightclub, she has clear line of sight on him
Yeah.
in a fairly well lit. There's a lot of light in there.
Yeah.
He's just teleporting.
Is he electricity man? He can go through the sockets.
What, like the electric gremlin?
I think that's what he is.
But even later on in New York, he's teleporting about, or on when I can't remember which kid it is, tries to climb up the kind of the mass pole.
What the fuck is that?
But instantly, Jason's halfway
Behind him, yeah.
and that's kind of unaddressed that he suddenly can do this now.
That-
Whereas in previous Friday the
Yeah.
13th, they weren't averse to having Jason run.
No.
In 3, he
Yeah, or
he's
following
crazy
him.
in it.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah,
this, he's just there.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I think you're right.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, it is. I actually did think, because in the game, that is
An
a
ability.
really wild ability where he can teleport. And maybe they
I
just,
feel like it comes from this one, really.
yeah, maybe they just do it without having to address it, because then they don't have to show it in
Yeah.
the movie, where they're
Yeah.
like, because they don't have to create an effect for it.
Because that's comparing it to Michael Myers, there'd be a cut of scene and he'd just be there.
Yeah.
Whereas this, they show him, continuous scene, he's then there.
Yeah, no,
You're like,
you're
"Whoa,
right.
that's disorientating.
Especially for that death where the person is thrown off the ladder
Yeah.
onto things, you're like, he moves.
How?
Yeah, no, that's true. Actually, I think I didn't really even clock that while I was watching it, because I was just like,
Odd.
it's just oddness happening. But there's so much stuff like that
General
anyway.
oddness.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's talk about the victims. Give me a kill overview.
Oh, this is a nightmare. Right, 19 overall, but 2 of these are accidental.
Yeah.
Some people count the waiter thrown into the mirror in the diner,
Yeah.
but I'm not doing that.
Nah, I don't think so.
This is a mess, this stat recall, because
Yeah.
there could be potentially more. As how many kids are on that boat that we never
That's
see
true.
die?
Yeah.
Same applies to the ship's crew. Just Jason kill them before going to the mainland?
Yeah.
Basically, I don't know and I'm confused.
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? It's some decent stuff as well, but it's also very strange.
So I think there's definitely 17 that we can attribute to Jason.
Yeah.
The 2 are accidental, but there could be, it's a graduating year.
Yeah.
Like in a film, are they just showing us all those kids, but you're applying there's like 100 kids on there?
Yeah,
There are a lot of deleted scenes of some more kids being killed
Okay, right.
before he disembarks. But this could be, 80, 100. But I don't know.
Yeah, why do they do that? Why do they say the class? Why don't they just say a group of mates? Is it because they need the teachers on board?
Yeah, or then it's weirder they have such a big boat. I don't know. Because you've got to have a big enough boat. Yeah, just let's talk this through.
Yeah.
You've got to have big enough boat, because otherwise he's just on you.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be able to hide from him, and there would be no sequences.
No, yeah.
So you need a nightclub, a kitchen,
Yeah.
a sauna.
setting, yeah.
Again, richer kids.
Yeah, a sauna on a cruise ship, yeah. It's a cruise ship, that's
Yeah.
the thing, isn't it? It's not a boat, it's a fucking cruise ship.
This film should be Jason Takes a Cruise.
I know. Why? Just call it that. Like Jason at Sea or something like
Yeah.
that. And then like this film should be,
Like Snakes on a Plane. It's Jason on a cruise.
yeah, the film should be the school exists in the exact same place. It's in Camp Crystal Lake. They have a cruise ship pull up to pick them all up. They all get on. anchor away. They anchor away. They fucking rip through the electricity. Jason holds onto the anchor then, and he goes up onto the boat. They go out to the sea. Jason kills them all at sea. You don't have to fuck about with anything. You can even land if you want. You can land in Manhattan. The next film, Jason takes Manhattan.
And you can even do what you just said.
Yeah.
And just go, let's take the tributary to the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
And then you go, well, there you go.
That's what it was,
I do feel over the years, Camp Crystal Lake's gone from that to this, all these holiday homes, the Jarvis house, Higgins Hope.
Do you know what though? This film 100% benefits from being able to watch it now versus being able to watch it then. I think if you watched it then, it'd be deeply unsatisfying and you might even think that it's crap. I think watching it now is actually one of the more fun.
It is fun. I would love to know, seeing this in the cinema, walking away going, we've just been happy. I don't know. I think that's always the tendency when doing anything like this is to diminish previous audiences from decades ago.
Yeah, definitely,
What would they have thought? Obviously, you can get some of that in online reviews from critics, but unlike now, we don't have the tweets from back then.
No, exactly, yeah.
Are
we better off?
Maybe, yeah.
Because you think we're better off. People are like, just living in the moment, going to watch Friday the 13th on a night in 1989.
And just turning the mate going, that was shit.
Yeah. But also, I would like to know what Jimmy from Queens thought of not getting to see any Queens.
The depiction of New York. Always Manhattan, is it?
But I think that's the thing, isn't it? Did they think that would get bums on seats more than just going, Jason's on a cruise liner? Maybe.
I think probably the original.
But surely you're just going to annoy people.
The original, I think that's the thing. One, they've gone all in on that.
Yeah.
We know they turn these productions around quickly. There's not enough time to reconfigure it. Marketing's already making the posters, the trailer.
By the time that trailer's come out, they just go, because that trailer looks like it's been made completely separate to the movie. So it's its own little thing.
I think they're probably so committed to the idea it's greenlit. Yeah. That's why it has to be reconfigured on the fly.
I mean, that trailer, other than the people you don't see anyone being killed. You just see a first person none
of those kills are in the film.
No, none of those kills are in the film. The other shot is just literally one shot, no editing, of like a crane shot coming down of Jason. It's probably ain't that hard to make that trailer.
No, well, it definitely could be like a second marketing team making that.
Absolutely, yeah. Whereas that's the things like they've made a killer trailer, they put it out, and then budget runs over, and then the studio then is stuck going, we have to call it that now.
Can we film in Madison Square Garden? No, you can't.
No, you cannot.
Can we film in a nightclub?
No. Absolutely not.
Can you do it on the boat or a rooftop?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that.
Vancouver.
We're gonna have to do that. Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? Because even I don't know if audiences back then were as like critical or as aware of what those coastlines look like. You look at that and go, that is Pacific Northwest. That does not look like East Coast America.
No.
Not near the New York area anyway.
No, it's
just mountains.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, isn't it? Because I'm obviously not saying this is the same thing, right? But it's like Doctor Who and Sherlock and that all shooting in Wales. Like, if you're Welsh and you're watching that, you're like, that's Cowbridge Road. Yeah. Whereas, like, if you're just watching it as a London, maybe not as a Londoner, if you're watching it,
do bits in London.
Yeah, like if you're watching it as someone just in the general, you take it as that. Do you know what I mean? But this is something different.
Oh yeah,
because it's not Sherlock takes London. Yeah. This is like Jason takes Manhattan. You expect him to be in Manhattan for all of it, and the thing is, this is the thing. Till we had this conversation, I was like, "Oh, is part of it because they didn't know how they could formalize why he's just not trying to kill every single person?" But I'm actually okay with saying that they do a good job of doing that and going, he's just after the people who've trespassed on Crystal Lake.
But then you believe, that's what I think they put into your mind through Jimmy. But again, he's just going off local legend or something he's making up to scare a girl.
Yeah, that's true.
That he wants to get off with.
Yeah.
Kills though.
Yeah.
Do you know how many punches Julius throws?
Oh, no, how many? I love that bit.
59 punches.
Yeah.
He's boxing him for 1 minute, 16 seconds.
I love that bit.
And then I think this is my favourite kill.
Ever, maybe.
He tires himself out.
Yeah.
And then Jason goes like, go on. Jason takes a shot, punches his head off.
Yeah. This is the thing. We're getting a little fun Jason now because we know Jason can kill that guy.
Yeah.
So he can just take Julius if he wanted to any time. But he's like, no, I'm gonna let this happen. I'm gonna let this go. I'm gonna let you tire yourself out. Then I'm gonna punch your head off and knock your block off.
Yeah.
Literally.
That would have been very funny for him to do that to a famous boxer in Madison Square Garden. But we don't get that.
Thing is, the execs of that movie had the best night out the night that they came up with that, because they're like drinking, they're in a bar, they're like, oh my god, we'll get Muhammad Ali and we're gonna get Jason Voorhees to literally knock his block off in Madison Square Garden, and we'll have like Muhammad Ali's head spinning towards the camera, and they're like, fucking yes boys, like drinking their cores, taking their silver bullets.
How much that cost? Oh, I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah.
Can you do it in Vancouver?
Next day of The Hangover, it's like, how much is it to rent Madison Square Garden? All right, we're going to Vancouver.
Can you do it with 6 people? Like running around Vancouver at night? Because
it can't be that much to rent Madison Square Garden. What on a quiet day? We'll do.
But weirdly, just going through a lot of these kills,
there's
very little blood.
Yeah.
Even when someone like Sean's dad, the captain, gets his throat slit.
Yeah.
And you think his head's going to tip back, and you think in previous there might be blood gushing, or something. There's just like a pathetic little red mark.
Yeah,
and you're like, that's weird. And this is something I alluded to earlier: the weird tone. Some of these feel quite bloodless.
Yeah,
and then you've got 2 thugs that are going to sexually assault Rennie
that's horrendous
by injecting him with heroin.
That's horrendous.
And you're like, what?
Where's this come from?
Because there's few, we've just seen someone being killed with a pink Flying V guitar.
Yeah.
In quite, and obviously that sounds wild to say, in a light-hearted manner. Yeah, it's meant to be like, it's a joke. It's a bit funny. And a lot of the tone of this film is quite funny. You've got
that's horrendous.
The girl, Tamara, like seducing her teacher.
Yeah.
And it's all just a bit like knockabout comedy.
Yeah.
And kind of just ridiculous that she even does that.
Yeah.
And then that is such a tonal handbrake.
It's horrendous.
Yeah, it's awful.
She gets kidnapped.
But also, then her legal guardian, her uncle, just goes, I think it's best if we all split up.
Yeah.
Whereas Julius is like, I'm going to go get him.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's horrible, that is. It's some of the other kills, though, the Admiral one, right, he is an Admiral, not a Captain. We should give him his proper rank.
So he's fuming with his son.
That's my favourite bit in almost the whole film.
Here's a sexton.
Yeah.
From basically like, my father.
Yeah.
And here's the modern quote. So what would you do? No, you fuck. You embarrassed me in front of him.
I love it. He's just like, go on then, take us out. How would you do it? And then he's so disappointed. He's like, no, you've got to rate, like, his disappointment and Sean's face. I was like, I was howling laughing.
But also,
so good. So good.
I don't really agree with Sean's reaction.
No.
Because if you want to be a captain, maybe listen to your dad, who's a fucking admiral.
He's an admiral, bro.
And he does it. He just goes and sulks off.
Yeah. I like Sean, weirdly.
Yeah,
like, he's a strange little character.
He looks like Michael Owen.
Yeah, he does a bit,
Very clean cut.
Very clean cut Michael Owen. Yeah. I really like Rennie and Sean.
Yeah.
Like as a little
I like Rennie as well.
thing going on.
Or is this our third dog in the season?
Yeah. Was it Toby?
Yeah, after Jarvis Dog and Muffin.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that come to mind anyway.
But yeah, I think like it's strange. Also, what I thought was really funny, and I don't know how, I don't even think back then in 1989
I have no idea
that Wayne is a loser dweeb. See that chin on him?
Oh yeah.
What, like, or is this that look?
Is
it? But like, he's got my glasses.
Is that the AV Club guy?
Yeah.
I think that's maybe the AV Club.
Yeah, he was so fucking hot.
He cleaned up today.
I looked him up because I was like, there's no way someone with that chin didn't go on to have an incredible career. And
it's almost like it could have been Crispin Glover.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because I thought I recognized him, but then I looked him up and I was like, I've not seen any of the 87 episodes of Poltergeist: The Legacy that he was in.
I didn't know there was a series here.
So Poltergeist Legacy. This is the blurb for Poltergeist Legacy. A group of poltergeist experts locate, retrieve, confiscate, or otherwise do what it takes to fix haunting situations. He did 87 episodes of that.
Is that affiliated with the franchise?
I guess so. It's got to be, right? I think it's like a mad spin-off of it. But yeah, he did that.
What is the long-term goal with the blackmailing of Charles McCulloch with the sex tape?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I don't remember this film at all. I didn't was like, is she into him?
Is that planned?
It definitely feels planned because, she's definitely teed him up to come in with a video camera to tape it.
Oh, okay. Because I didn't know he just happened to be walking past.
No, because he immediately throws at the tape.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Planned, and then she puts it under, and he goes, "If you want it, come." But you've graduated.
She's a weirdo.
Why do you need stuff on him?
Yeah, that's true.
And also, I love that he's like goes for a bit. Oh no. No.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
It's really icky, that bit, isn't it?
There's some, that's the thing. Some strange ones as well. Like as you say, like Eva getting strangled. I know, obviously, like budget restraints and stuff like that. In the disco room, she just gets proper strangled, and it goes on for ages.
It's quite wild. And when he throws her to the floor, I think she, you know who that is? That lady, it's Lady Deathstrike from X-Men 2.
Is it?
Yeah, I think she's called Kelly Hu.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. She takes the fall, and because Kane Hodder is a stunt man, he apparently taught her and instructed her. He said, it's going to be really hard for me to throw you from this height and you not want to break your fall.
Right.
So you've got to really resist that urge. And if you watch it back, she looks lifeless. And he's like, it probably will hurt. Right. And I think that's why it does look quite shocking. Not shocking, but just kind of like
nasty. It's just pretty rough,
because when he throws her, she just feels like dead.
Yeah. The thing is, I have two favorite kills.
Could be Julius.
Julius wins. Like, that is one of the best kills in all of Friday the 13th, I think. Anyway, but if we saw a little bit more of it, he's called Jason weird. Jason getting the sauna rock in his belly.
It's called Jason?
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Why have you done that?
I know, I have no idea.
Because also, it looks like he's on fire.
Yeah, it's a bit of bad CG, I think, but like, that is an amazingly clever kill.
Yeah.
But we just don't see enough of it.
Also, you've been in the sauna, you know that could happen.
Exactly, yeah. I think that would have been really good if we saw a little tiny bit more of it, but sadly we don't.
I think that kill was added after in post-production.
Was it?
Yeah, I think they just wanted more on the ship. Like, you need more on the ship.
Yeah.
The Charles McCulloch killing feels like, just like, because he is almost like the secondary antagonist.
Yeah.
Just feels like a very 80s, he gets his comeuppance.
Yeah.
It just happens to be really horrible.
Yeah.
You know, like the principal getting like his house egged.
Yeah. It's really strange, isn't it? Because we are starting to see that because this killer has become like iconic and the people are on his side, like, you know, when he stops Renee from getting attacked, do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't kill her straight away. He stops that.
He kills her attackers.
Yeah.
So you're almost going, go on, Jason.
Yeah, and I think like we're starting to see that with these films. We saw in the last one, like where we almost have like a secondary antagonist, where it was just like Jason is also killing people.
But then we've also doing good here.
We've also got the guy who's dealing in plutonium,
like Weekend at Bernie's guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you do quite like when he kills McCulloch.
Yeah.
Because you almost feel like McCulloch's like, Animal House.
Yeah.
And he just like dips him in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, but the thing with Jason though, it almost feels like, because him killing Renee's attackers kind of deviates from that rule.
Yeah.
Or is he killing them because they're getting in his way from killing the person he wants to
kill? But it feels like, I don't know what his motivations would be, because he does kill them, but you feel like he would just go straight after, but he doesn't really. He kind of lets her get away a little bit. Maybe he's just enjoying it. I don't know. Maybe he's enjoying the chase.
He's never been to the city before.
Likes the
He's
chase.
been in a lake.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of like what we can learn.
Oh, so lessons.
Yeah.
Don't go on cruises.
Oh, I'd love to go on a cruise though.
Get rid of that one. Don't blackmail people.
Yeah. Blackmail was also a bigger thing.
You're like,
well.
I want to blackmail people.
Yeah, blackmail was always a bigger thing in these movies as well. It's like, don't blackmail me. Like, do you know what I mean?
I wonder if modern technology makes that both easier and harder to do.
Yeah.
Don't try to box Jason.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't. I'd feel like a dickhead getting in. Even though I've done like a couple of boxing classes, I feel like a dickhead getting into the boxing stance.
I think that's the thing. Like
I try other things
because we try to find other ways of combating Jason with a lot of these principles. So like learn how to tie knots. So for instance,
avoid saunas.
Yeah, that's quite good. But I like saunas.
I like a sauna as well.
I've also put because I don't know whether this actually angers Jason, whether he remembers.
Yeah.
Don't try to drown people when teaching them to swim.
That's quite a big thing that people do.
Because I feel like don't do that with Jason around.
No,
because that's literally he drowned. So I feel like it's rubbing his face in it a bit.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there, isn't it? Because I was definitely thrown in loads, but with armbands. Yeah. Like I remember, because I was afraid to just go into the water. I was thrown in a lot.
Under the water.
Yeah,
so when I to teach you how to breathe underwater, not breathe underwater, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had to put our head under and blow bubbles.
Yeah.
For like X amount of seconds. And I used to hate doing it. I used to like cry my eyes. I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to put my face underwater. And I don't think just chucking them, because I do wonder whether Jason takes particular glee killing Charles McCulloch because he kind of remembers that.
Yeah, maybe. I'd like to think that.
It feels like, I don't know, because he doesn't just rip his head off.
No, yeah.
And it's almost, you think about it, it's almost like doing the thing, he's drowning him.
Yeah.
There's a bit more of a full circle on that kill.
Yeah, maybe it's like, if we're saying that he remembers that, then don't throw each other in Camp Crystal Lake. Because we are going to Camp Crystal Lake.
Don't muck about on the water.
No, I want to muck about. Come on. But I don't want to...
Don't try to drown me.
Yeah, don't throw each other in the water.
Don't drown someone.
Don't drown...
We need to like just refine it.
But I think it's like, he throws her in.
Don't throw someone into Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah, don't antagonize Jason by throwing someone into Camp Crystal Lake.
Throw someone into Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah. I think that's good. Because I don't want to rule out...
all of these are not to antagonize him.
Yeah, I don't want to rule out horseplay on Camp Crystal Lake.
What's the definition of horseplay?
Mucking about.
Right.
Yeah. That's good. I like that. It's good. It's good lessons. What we got so far?
Don't play strip Monopoly or a strip variant of any game or pastime.
Sorted.
Don't skinny dip.
Fine.
Don't be rude to shopkeepers. Don't leave the bathroom door unlocked. Don't be annoying. Don't get lost. Don't have a birthday party or birthday party paraphernalia on us.
Good.
Don't throw someone into Camp Crystal Lake.
Sorted. That's all good shit, man. I like that. Right, let's talk about our survivors then. Rennie and Sean?
Rennie and Sean.
And Toby, I suppose, the dog?
Yeah, we could put Toby in. Why not?
If you want.
What can we learn from Toby? Be a good boy.
Be a good boy. He finds them pretty well in New York.
I know.
I don't know what the thing's going on there.
It's like the cat in A Quiet Place.
I was thinking with that. I was like, he finds them. Is that...
Don't get lost.
Don't get lost.
Toby knows.
That's good. Is that like... Because when I saw that Toby come back, I was like, oh, is this
Muffin?
A callback to Muffin, and none of this is going to be real? What we're going to see next? I don't think so.
Bigger problems.
Yeah, I found this one quite thing.
No, so initially they put a lot. You know when they initially disembark from the big cruise ship.
Yeah,
they get on a little rowboat.
Yeah,
they are miles from Manhattan.
Yeah.
So I put, because we might be water based, just get good at rowing.
Get good at rowing.
Because they get to Manhattan in not a lot of time. I feel like that would take hours.
Yeah.
Additional question: how does Jason get there?
I have no idea.
In my head, I imagine
teleporting.
Teleporting, or I like to think because he's just walking on the river floor.
Yeah, because but he can run. Yeah.
But anyway, they don't address that, and I think that's one of those things where they don't care.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what they actually do that helps them.
So I've got know when and where toxic waste was being vented. Is being vented in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's Googleable.
Yeah.
Also, have a piece of famous horror memorabilia on hand.
Yeah, that's true.
Bizarre little wrinkle, unnecessary detail.
Yeah.
So Renee's teacher, who obviously is very invested in her.
Yes.
Somehow, as a graduation gift, buys her Stephen King's pen.
Yeah.
Can you, as a writer, explain to me why you think that is in that script?
Yeah, no idea.
The pen is the pen of the horror master. Can defeat this horror icon. What are they trying to, the pen is mightier than the sword.
Yeah.
There's obviously some reason. It's because it's such an unnecessary thing to put in.
Is it just that they're fans of his and they just want to put something in it?
I think it is, but it's almost like distracting that this teacher can acquire this.
Never seen again.
That would cost tens of thousands of pounds.
Never seen or mentioned again.
She was left on the boat.
Yeah, never seen or mentioned again. It's very strange.
I just find it such like a detail that really snags you in the film. You go, I rewound it and went, it's what?
Yeah, I know. It's really strange, isn't it? Yeah, never seen again.
Have a piece of famous horror memorabilia on hand?
I like that.
I think it's quite fun.
I don't really have anything because like the thing that I find...
Or carry a pen?
Because like, did they inject it with that heroin?
I don't think they do.
Okay, right.
I don't think they do.
Fine. Because she takes that incredibly well.
Because I was going to say... This is also, you can tell, this one feels very 80s with the hair and a bit of the glam metal.
Yeah.
But also the transition from from weed to coke.
Yeah.
Because Tamara and Eva are doing coke.
The nighttime is the right time.
Yeah. And then heroin is like a societal problem.
Fuck yeah.
So you almost get this contrast of... inner city people living on the street and thugs, and you've got these like yuppie kids having coke.
But the heroin, it looks like Teenage Mutant. It looks like the ooze from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's like this big cartoon syringe.
Also in Dream Warriors when Freddy's fingers are syringes.
Yeah.
And maybe America being scared about drugs as an epidemic.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Especially within nice families.
The thing is like they really sidelined these guys are because Rennie, whenever you see her, she's just getting all the vision. So that's our primary
and
thing
of
with
being
her.
scared of water, and having a connection with Jason when she was younger. There's like almost like psychic connection with him.
Yeah, that becomes her function. Sean, I don't know,
Just there, isn't he?
just there. Disappointing Admiral's son. Don't know. So yeah,
You know what would be like if they did a sequel.
yeah.
Where you could, I think people have talked about this over the years, is getting back several of the final girls,
Right.
especially the last two, which could potentially be super powered.
Yeah. Could you imagine like them meeting the other ones being like, well, you can do what?
Like Ginny and Chris, who's like, I just hit him with stuff.
Just hit him with a chainsaw?
Yeah.
Try to anyway.
I want myself under a bed.
Yeah, I like that. I like that as a
Okay, so we're doing that.
thing to learn. So what we got?
Let me see. Is it take a piece of horror memorabilia or a pen?
Horror memorabilia.
Horror pen.
Horror pen.
Take a horror pen. There you go. Okay.
Can you buy Stephen King's pen?
I reckon he uses a typewriter.
There's no way he uses a pen. Yeah.
He uses a typewriter.
Stephen King lovers. Oh no, it's just. I mean,
Also, today that would be hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, no, I don't think this is his official pen because it's got a picture of Pennywise on it. So.
Could be.
He could be his. So what we got?
That's not where he got the idea.
Yeah, no. Hang on. It's on my pen. It's that little whirly one.
Yeah.
His clothes come off.
Yeah, look at that one. Beep beep.
What's our previous lessons?
So, learn how to tie at least 3 knots. You got them down now, haven't you?
Yeah.
Go to a bar for most of the evening. Easier for Manhattan.
Very easy. Yeah.
Make an impact.
Yes.
Bound for Camp Crystal Lake. Learn how to do a fireman's lift.
Yeah.
Master the occult. Learn telekinesis. Or able to move something using the power of magic, i.e. conjuring.
Yeah.
Take a horror pen.
Ooh, okay. I like those.
That's all right, isn't it?
What outstanding questions have you got for this? Because to be fair, I had a lot of questions and we've done a lot of things there.
Yeah, the ones I still had, but we just did one then was how does he get to Manhattan?
Yeah.
But also, we've kind of done it a lot early on. It's just, how are you meant to actually interpret that ending?
Yeah.
Because it feels like Sean can see that as well.
Yeah.
Whereas prior to that, all the visions of Jason have been focalized through Renee. Whereas at the end, it feels like Sean has seen that.
So the toxic waste has brought out Jason's inner child physically.
And back from the dead. Maybe we shouldn't be so scared of toxic waste.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't, yeah.
But also, can also make toasters move.
This is... What happens next?
Do you think you would have survived Friday the 13th, part 8?
I think I would like to think that I would. I reckon I would have been enamored with Times Square, gone off to one of those little diners. Love a little diner.
You're having a hot dog.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, massively.
And you know, you just said what happens next.
Yeah.
you better buckle in for what happens next.
The boy, is he dead too?
Ma'am, we didn't find any boy.